welcome to a new episode of Kiss and Tell Podcast. I'm your host, the Lion Man, and today we're going to have a tournament to decide the greatest rock band of the 1990s. We already did it for the decades of the 70s and the 80s, and now we're going up to the 90s, and we'll probably jump backwards here in a few weeks or a couple months and do the 1960s. But today is all about the 90s, all about the grunge, the pop punk, and things of that nature from that generation. Today on our panel, we have Tommy Taterbook Barnes, Mike 100,000 Watts, and our special guest is Matt Sohal. Say hello, Matt.
Hey, everybody. I appreciate the chance to come on, talk about 90s music. It'll be fun to go through this and figure out who's the best one of the decade with everybody here. If y'all get the chance, I'm a realtor. Check out Cirque Real Estate, CIRQUE realestate.com for your needs anywhere in Texas or all over the state. But I appreciate the chance to come on.
Okay, so for all you out there in podcast land, be sure to like, comment, and please subscribe to Kiss and Tell on YouTube. We're getting bigger by the episode. We're approaching that 100 subscriber mark. And on Facebook, we have a new page. It's called Kiss and Tell Rock Talk, where we talk and celebrate all things rock. Any genre of rock, any decade of rock, we will celebrate it because it's all about keeping rock alive. So if you get a chance to go to Facebook, please join that page, go to YouTube and subscribe. And as far as our shout out, we're going to shout out once again to Kiss Meets the Podcast, fellow community podcast about Kiss. I think they're on a break for a couple of weeks. They're going to be on our show in a few weeks. We are going to take 32 bands. We're going to eliminate them in an NCAA basketball bracket style until we determine what's the greatest rock band of the 1990s. Now, these guys do not know the matchups, so they're going to hear the matchups for the first time, just as you are. So you guys ready out there? You ready to get this ball game started?
Yes, sir.
Go.
All right. So in order, we'll start with Tommy. You'll go first, Mike second, Sohal, you go third, and I'll go fourth. Okay, our first matchup is Metallica versus U2. Metallica versus U2.
Are you serious?
I am serious, and don't call me Shirley.
I cannot believe you two's going to get put out in the first doggone round, the first matchup.
Maybe they won't.
Yeah. U2's a great band. They had some mega hits, and they were great. But I think you got to go Metallica on this, especially in the 90s. Yeah, so I'll go Metallica.
All right, we got to vote for Metallica. Mike?
It's hard to stop a train, and it's going to be hard to stop Metallica. Metallica.
2 votes Metallica.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you right now, I agree with Tommy and Mike. As good as U2 is, and they're definitely unique. Metallica all the way. No ifs, ands, or buts.
So Metallica is moving on to the next round, no matter what I vote. But U2 is a good band. Metallica is a game changer. They're a trendsetter. And a lot of people don't know this, but they had the biggest selling album of the 90s as far as rock music. Their Black Album sold 18 million copies, bigger than any other album as far as rock. And maybe any album. I'm not sure about that, but definitely rock of the 90s. So Metallica moves on to the next round. Nirvana versus Live.
I don't really remember Live that much.
Lightning crashes.
Song. Yeah, I was going to say, I remember the one song, but as far as their overall profile, I don't remember a whole lot of their music. So I'll go with one of the most overrated bands that I've always said I'll go Nirvana.
So going against his own wishes, Tommy's voting Nirvana. All right, Mike.
Yeah, I think I only remember that one song from Alive, and I remember a lot of songs from Nirvana. So even though Nirvana is not my favorite 90s band, I'm going to go with Nirvana on this one against Live.
Okay. 2 votes Nirvana.
Yep. As I'm with y'all, live sold plenty of records, but Nirvana started a whole fringe of rock and roll in the 90s, and there are still people that swear by them now. So Nirvana for sure.
All right. So Nirvana moves on to the next round. Nirvana's like Metallica. They were a trendsetter. They changed the game. Metallica changed the game in rock, heavy metal, and Nirvana basically killed off the whole genre of hair metal and started a new revolution in music. I like Live. I like Lightning Crashes. They had another song called I Alone. And there's a third song. They actually had 3 hits that were really good. That album's really good. If you haven't listened to that album, check out that album. They're a really good band. But, yeah, this is Nirvana all day. So Nirvana will move on to the next round. Hootie and the Blowfish versus Stone Temple Pilots.
Oh, wow. Darius Rucker.
Well,
He
we do a little country music for you now.
Hell yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeehaw. Man, I really liked Stone Temple Pilots. They had a couple of songs that I really liked. Smooth melody that Hootie and the Blowfish added. Yeah, I'm gonna go Hootie, man. I'm gonna show him some love.
Tommy went to Hootie.
Yeah.
He saw that crack rear view, and he went to Hootie. All right, Mike Watts.
Well, we'll make it interesting this time. I like both groups, but I'm gonna go with Stone Temple Pilots.
Got to vote for Scott Weiland and Stone Temple Pilots. Got to vote for Darius Rucker and Hootie. What you got, Soha?
As I love me some Stone Temple Pilots, but I can't believe I'm going to do this. I'm going to vote against them and say Hootie and the Blowfish.
Yeah.
Too many
makeout music.
Yep. Too many women. Love those guys. That was the ticket in the 90s, baby, right there.
Okay.
What's it going to be?
I'm going to go Stone Temple Pilots. I liked Hootie, but, man, they got so overplayed. It got nauseating at one time.
Yeah.
And,
I agree. Yeah.
And I never got nauseated hearing Stone Temple Pilots. I always liked them. They never got outdated or overplayed for me. So I'm going to go Stone Temple Pilots. So we are tied at 2. So now we have to go to the tiebreaker sheet to see who sold more albums in the 90s. So Hootie and the Blowfish sold 6 million albums in the 90s. Stone Temple Pilots sold 17 million albums. So Stone Temple Pilot will move on to the next round. All right, our next matchup is Seattle's own Pearl Jam versus the boys from England, Oasis.
Oasis, yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna go Pearl Jam. Pearl Jam had several good songs.
So Bugs goes Eddie Vedder.
I can't understand one word Pearl Jam says when they sing. But for some reason, I like it. I don't care. I'm like, what is he saying? But it sounds so good. So I'm going to go with Pearl Jam.
All right, we got 2 votes for Pearl Jam. You're up, Soha.
All right, I know I'm going to get outvoted on this, but it was one of my favorite bands in the 90s, so I'm going to go with Oasis.
All right, so he goes Champagne Supernova. Well, Soha, you guessed wrong because I'm not a big Pearl Jam fan at all. Not at all. I like the first album, 10, but Eddie Vedder's voice, sometimes I like it. Like, I don't know if you guys ever heard his solo work he did where he did the soundtrack to that one movie where the guy goes off into the wild and he takes all these notes and all that, and then he winds up eating some berries and kills them at the end. Well, I can't remember the name of the movie, But Eddie Vedder did all the music for that soundtrack, and I really love that soundtrack. I was like, man, this is way better than the stuff he does with Pearl Jam. But I don't know, man. I know they're super popular, but I think they're okay. I would go Oasis. So we are tied once again. So now we're going to have to go to the sheet to determine the winner. Oasis sold 6 million albums during the 1990s in the United States. Pearl Jam sold 28 million albums in the 1990s in the United States. So Pearl Jam will move on to the next round. Soundgarden versus Pantera. Chris Cornell versus Dimebag Darrell.
I'm gonna go Soundgarden. I like Pantera, but I'll go Soundgarden.
All right, so Tommy is going to go Spoon Man. Mike, you're up.
Yeah, well, Pantera's got Dimebag Darrell, that's for sure, and rest in peace, Dimebag Darrell. But I'm going to go with Soundgarden on this. I mean, I just love Soundgarden. I like their sound. I always have. Going with Soundgarden.
2 votes, Soundgarden. Soha?
It definitely Soundgarden. I like their sound a whole lot better, but Pantera is definitely one that everybody's going to know, and you can't deny how much you like them. But in this case, I got to go with Soundgarden.
Obviously a Soundgarden fan. Chris Cornell had an amazing voice. Rest in peace, Chris Cornell. But there was only one band in the 90s that was still flying the flag for heavy metal. Heavy metal had died. It had been put out of its misery by bands like Nirvana and Pearl Jam. There was only one band that picked that flag off the ground and kept flying it through the 90s, and that was Pantera with Vulgar Display of Power, Cowboys from Hell. And they saved that genre from just fading away forever. Dimebag Darrell, one of the all-time greats. I'm voting Pantera, but Soundgarden will move on. Okay, our next matchup. The 1990s version of Kiss versus Offspring. So the Offspring versus the 1990s version of Kiss. This should be interesting.
Well, the one thing that's going to save Kiss on this is revenge. Offspring they were a good band, but they released Revenge in the 90s, and that right there is going to get my vote.
So Tommy's going Revenge, which came out in 1992, and it was probably the best album Kiss had done in a decade. It was a great album, Return to the Roots. It was
Since Creatures.
Yeah, which was 1981. Yeah. So they finally found their way back home, so to speak. So Tommy's going to go with Kiss over the Offspring, and we're going to go down there to the guy who's pretty fly for a white guy, Mike Watts. All right.
I'm going to agree with Tommy about that Revenge album. That was an awesome album. So I'm going to agree with Tommy on that. I'm going to give it to Kiss on this one, but there's so many versions of the 90s Kiss. You got Bruce Kulick with them, and they did the Unplugged on MTV with Bruce Kulick, and then they had Ace Frehley and Peter Criss set in with them. Then they did the reunion tour. So you got to give Kiss some credit for the reunion tour. I mean, they had all the original members getting back together and going out on the road. So they did a lot in the 90s. I'm hoping they stay in this tournament for a little while. Not saying that they're the best band of the 90s, but because of the reunion tour and what they did on the reunion tour and how they pulled it off, all of them getting together like that, I'm hoping they stay in there for a little while. So
didn't they start their farewell tour in the 90s?
Yeah. I think so. I think so. All right, 2 votes for Kiss. Soha.
All right. Now, Lion Man knows I'm a Kiss fan, and I hate to vote against them, but there are too many times where I had my pedal to the floor, driving my car at 90 plus miles an hour, listening to some Offspring. If I was ever pissed off, that album was in the car playing. So I have to say Offspring.
All right, so we're going to go pop punk, which is what I call Green Day and Offspring and bands like that. They weren't full-fledged punk, but they were pop punk. They were radio-friendly punk. Good bands, man. Everybody knows that I made fun of Kiss a lot when we did the greatest bands of the 1980s because I thought, they won the first round, which I thought was a joke. They shouldn't have never got out of the first round. But you fools voted for them. But I actually have more respect for them in the 90s with 2 albums, and here's why. Obviously, Revenge was a good album. And I think the Unplugged album is severely underrated. That Unplugged album is great. The production, the sound. And to this day, the Kiss MTV Unplugged is the most watched Unplugged episode they ever had. The only one that had more views was the one that Nirvana did. So if you think about all the bands that went on there and did Unplugged, they're number 2 all time as far as being viewed on TV. And that album that came out of that session, that Unplugged album, is really good. Now, you got some shit albums like Carnival of Souls. You got Psycho Circus, which I call Psycho Suck. You got You Wanted the Best, but we're not going to give it to you. I mean, it got some crappy albums. Yeah. But here's another thing you might not know. The Kiss reunion tour of 96 was the biggest grossing tour of the decade. Even bigger than any Metallica tour, bigger than any U2 tour. It was the biggest grossing tour of the decade. When the originals got back together for the first time since the 70s, it was huge. Okay. I'm going to go Kiss by a hair, just by a hair. And it's because of the Unplugged album. I think I like the Unplugged album better than I do Revenge, to be honest with you. But Revenge was a good album. So, surprising to me, Kiss makes it out of the first round. They shouldn't have made it out of the first round in the 80s. This one is kind of iffy, but it's not like they beat Def Leppard in the 80s, right? Mike Watts. Is Radiohead versus Bush.
Oh, God.
Man.
I don't even really remember Bush. I'm going to go Radiohead.
So the Bug goes Radiohead.
I concur.
Mike, you going to be a creep and pick Radiohead too?
That song rocks.
2 votes Radiohead.
All right. I like Radiohead, but Bush was one of those other albums I have to pick it. I still got it. I play it all the damn time. I can't not vote for it, man.
Was that album something about a suitcase, the name of the title, or?
It was 16 Stone.
Oh, okay. I thought they had an album called something with a suitcase or something. I don't know. Radiohead could very well easily be the most talented band in this whole contest. I mean, they're super talented. Never really got into Bush, but I respect Radiohead as musicians, even though they're, not something I listen to on a regular basis. I'll go Radiohead. So Radiohead will move on to the next round. Our next matchup is Rage Against the Machine versus Third Eye Blind.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Third Eye Blind. They had several good songs that I liked. I had that one album, and it was really good. So I'm gonna go them.
So Bug goes Third Eye Blind. Mike?
I I don't know. Neither one of them would be my favorite group of the 90s. I'm going to go Third Eye Blind.
2 votes for Third
Or
Eye
maybe
Blind.
it's the second.
Third eye.
Maybe it's only one eye blind.
Third eye blind.
So Third Eye Blind will move to the next round. I would vote for Tom Morello and Rage Against the Machine. One of my favorite guitarists of the 90s. And I just like the angst and the energy that they perform with. Their music's very aggressive. I always like that in a band. But Third Eye Blind will move to the next round. Matchbox 20 versus Korn. Matchbox 20 versus Korn.
Matchbox 20 has some good songs too, and so did Korn. I'm gonna go Matchbox 20.
Okay, so he's going to vote Rob Thomas in Matchbox 20. Mike, you looking
I'm
like
going with Matchbox. Go ahead.
I was saying you. I was going to say you look like a freak on a leash over there, brother.
I'm going to go with Matchbox 20 also.
All right, 2 votes Matchbox.
Clean sweep. Matchbox.
All right, and I'm going to vote Matchbox. So it's Matchbox 20 into the next round. No Doubt versus the Counting Crows.
Yep.
You know it. I'm going Counting Crows all the way. I'm going to stick with that.
2 votes for Counting Crows. Soha?
So I actually got to hear this band before they were famous, right before their first album hit, and they made it big time, and everybody found out who the lead singer was, and she went on to be famous. But I got to go No Doubt, because the first time I heard them, I said, this band's going to make some money and get real popular real fast.
So we got to vote for Gwen Stefani. They were like a ska band, right? When they started out, they were considered ska. I don't even know what the hell that means, but that's a genre of rock called ska that was famous in the 90s for a couple of minutes, I think. I like some of No Doubt songs, man. Some of those songs are really catchy. But I don't know if I've ever said this on the podcast before, but my favorite album of the 90s by far was August and Everything After by the Counting Crows. I listened to that album probably for 2 years straight, almost on an everyday basis. I don't know if I was going through some kind of depression. I remember I was in college, or maybe I felt lost, but the lyrics and the music to that album just like moved me, and I could just identify with the singer's angst and his emotion. And my favorite song on that album was never ever even released as a single, because on that album we had Mr. Jones and we had Round Here, which were big songs. But there's a song called A Murder of Crows, which is an amazing song. And I just could never get enough of listening to August and Everything After by the Counting Crows. So I'm going to vote Counting Crows, and they will move on to the next round. Okay, our next matchup is Green Day versus Limp Bizkit. Green Day versus Limp Bizkit.
All right. Green Day. Limp Bizkit there. But yeah, definitely Green Day.
Okay, so we got to vote for Green Day. Mike?
I'm not voting for Sausage Biscuit. No. I'm going with Green Day.
So
Green Day.
Mike's not going to do it for the Nookie. He's going to vote Green Day.
Green Day. Green Day for
You're not going to
sure.
do it for the sausage and biscuit, huh?
They ain't got no gravy.
Well, it's going to be a clean sweep. Green Day for me as well. They'll move on to the next round. Smashing Pumpkins versus Guns N' Roses.
Oh, shit.
Oh, man, Chris.
Really?
Why'd you do that to my boy?
Oh,
Why didn't you just say, well, Guns N' Roses is taking the next round?
yeah, really? That's not
Oh,
even,
man.
wow.
Why'd you put Smashing Pumpkins up
What
against
you
them?
got, Bug?
Oh, yeah, definitely Guns N' Roses. Yeah, I don't even think that even deserves to even be counted.
So remember, Guns N' Roses in the '90s released "Lies," which was an acoustic live album, and then they released "Use Your Illusion" 1 and 2.
Hmm.
So you're going Guns N' Roses.
Yep.
This is not Appetite for Destruction, Guns N'
I
Roses.
know. Yeah, but I mean, I still think Lies and Use Your Illusion 1 and 2 still wins.
Okay. So Mike Watts.
I don't care. I'm going Smashing Pumpkins.
Mike's going Billy Corgan and Smashing Pumpkins.
Man,
Melancholy. Was it Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness was name of the album, I think. All right, so you're up.
Okay, if this was the '80s, it'd be Guns N' Roses, and I would vote for them till I was blue in the face. But for the '90s, I gotta say Smashing Pumpkins.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
I figured Mike was just being a wise ass.
I like Smashing Pumpkins, but I thought, man, Chris put them against Guns N' Roses, they're going to lose out first round.
Yeah,
All right.
He done pulled a Cinderella on us.
yeah. I can't believe that. Can't do that.
Let's see how he acts now, Tommy.
Yeah, I know it.
Shoot.
I like Guns N' Roses way more than I like the Smashing Pumpkins. It's not even close. But if you're asking me what band was more symbolic of the '90s, I think Smashing Pumpkins were more symbolic of the '90s than Guns N' Roses were. But I still am picking Guns N' Roses because I personally like them way better than the Smashing Pumpkins. So we have another tie, gentlemen. So Guns N' Roses sold 20 million albums, and they didn't release another album after 1994. And then Smashing Pumpkins in the '90s sold 11 million. So Guns N' Roses will move on to the next round. Is REM versus the Dave Matthews Band. REM versus Dave Matthews.
I'm gonna go Dave Matthews. I liked REM,
All right, so
but I'm gonna go Dave Matthews.
Bug's going Dave Matthews.
Man, I'd hate to buck the system again, but I guess I'm going to stick with the REM.
All right, we got a split vote. One for REM, one for Dave Matthews. Soha.
I'm gonna agree with Barnes. I like REM, but I'll go Dave Matthews.
2-1, Dave Matthews. I am not a fan of Dave Matthews whatsoever. The next Dave Matthews song I hear that I like will be the first. I like the albums REM did in the early '90s. I think the one was called Out of Time, and then another album called Automatic for the People, which had Losing My Religion on it, which is a really good song. I'm going to go REM. So now we're tied once more, so we'll have to check out the sheet. REM sold 13.5 million albums in the '90s. Dave Matthews Band sold 17 million albums in the '90s, and this is in the United States, not worldwide. So Dave Matthews will move on to the next round. Our next matchup, this is going to be a Jim Dandy. Two really good bands. The Red Hot Chili Peppers versus the 1990s version of Aerosmith.
I don't want to put them under the bridge, but I'm gonna go Aerosmith.
So Tommy's not going to get caught underneath that bridge, brother. He went Steven Tyler and Aerosmith.
Oh, it's Californication. No. Dang, I'm bucking the system all night long. It's Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Mike says, wow, that's a really red hot chili pepper you got there. He goes Anthony Kiedis and the Red Hot Chili Peppers. 1-1. Soha.
I'm gonna go with the big ones, baby. Aerosmith.
Ooh. Soha says, it's amazing. With the blink of an eye, Mike Watts picked the chili pepper. All right. If this was 70s Aerosmith, would be no doubt. it'd be a landslide. I'm not a big 90s Aerosmith fan. They have a song here or there I kind of like, but I always dug the Chili Peppers. They were different. They were unique. And I like their sound. I'm going Red Hot Chili Peppers. So that means we got another tie, fellas. Aerosmith sold a total of 10 million albums in the 1990s, and the Red Hot Chili Peppers sold a total of 15 million albums. So the Chili Peppers will move on to the next round. One of my favorite singers, rock singers of all time, Lane Staley of Alice in Chains versus the Cranberries. Alice in Chains versus the Cranberries. Tommy, are you going to let it linger, or are you going to give us an answer?
No. Alice in Chains.
I'm a tater in the box. Buried in my brick. All right. All right, Mike Watts. What you got?
I'm going Alice in Chains, of course.
Heck yeah.
All right,
Alice in Chains.
we got 3 for Alice in Chains.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, you're the one that put him in there with the Cranberries.
What the hell?
They're not going to linger for too long.
I like.
Yeah.
Hey, what was that? That sounded like a mad woodpecker. What was that? I like the Cranberries. They're a good band, and I love their lead singer. She died a few years back. I can't remember her name, but I like their music. They're a really good band, but they're no Alice in Chains. This is Alice in Chains all day, so they will move on to the next round. Our last matchup of the first round, boys, is White Zombie, led by the legendary Rob Zombie, versus Creed.
I'm going to go Creed.
Tommy is going to go Creed. Mike, 100,000 watts.
I can't go against Dracula. I can't go against my boy White Zombies. No, I can't go White Zombie.
So Mike's going to do a little thunder kissing. 65, and he chooses White Zombie. So we got a tie. So
White Zombie.
and I'm also going White Zombie. So White Zombie will move on to the next round.
Oh, well.
So our first matchup in the second round, another great matchup. Metallica versus Soundgarden.
Soundgarden, yeah. But yeah, I don't think they're gonna win this over Metallica. So I'm gonna go Metallica.
Tommy Barnes goes Metallica. What say you, Mike Watts?
I'm crazy, but I'm not that crazy. I'm going Metallica.
2 votes for the mighty Metallica.
Metallica all the way.
And I'm going Metallica as well. As good as Soundgarden is, they never even got close to touching Metallica. So Metallica will move on to the next round. I can't even say this with a straight face.
You better.
Nirvana versus Kiss.
Oh, my God. Wow.
Come on, Tommy.
Taterbug,
don't you do it, man.
Come on, Tommy.
Don't you dare, Tommy.
I want to so bad. Because you know how much I think Nirvana is overrated.
Stick to your guts. Stick to your heart, Tommy. Stick to your heart.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna hide my heart. I'm gonna go.
Hey, Nirvana's gonna get eliminated today. Ooh, so Nirvana, you weren't big enough in the 90s to deal with that Paul Stanley hot in the shade. All right, Mike, we got to vote for Kiss somehow, some way. Let's see if you can get this train back on the track, Mike Watts.
You know, when Ace Frehley shows up to a concert with Peter, Gene, and Paul in the 90s, well, that's all I have to vote for Kiss.
People out there, I mean, I try to stay, neutral. I try not to put on my Kiss blinders all the time. I try to stay objective. But these two guys below me, they just drink the Kool-Aid day and night. They have their big Kiss goggles on, right? And they're sitting there watching their Kiss Exposed tape, doing his Paul Stanley dancing over there. All right, so I'll see if you can.
Hey, we're watching. Hey, don't forget, we're still watching Kiss Meets the Phantom.
Right.
I mean, there's all that stuff going on. I mean, hey, Nirvana was one of the most overrated bands ever. I mean, it's just true. But Kiss's Revenge and the reunion tours and all that stuff and Unplugged, oh man, you gotta go with him. I mean, come on, Kurt Cobain, he was a decent singer. Now look at that face Chris is making. Like I'm supposed to feel like I don't know.
No, that's not it. That's not it, Tommy. I told you to vote your heart. I said stick to your guns, vote your heart. And there's no right or wrong answer because music is subjective, and everybody's got different tastes.
Yeah.
So,
Nirvana sucks. I mean, that's just
Mike Watts, I'm going to kick you off this show if you ever sing that song again. Don't sing that song, Mike.
Hey, break out a little rock hard there, man.
Mike, that's one of the worst songs in their catalog, and you got the audacity to sing that live. Really? Come on, Mike. Have you no shame? All right.
Hey, break out a plaster caster.
Let's see if Soha can bring some credibility to our podcast. Matt, you're up.
Yeah, he already told me. He voted Kiss. He voted Kiss. He told me.
Hey, I'll be the first one to agree. Look, guys, Nirvana did its own unique thing in the 90s, got their name out there, but yeah, Kiss is it.
Yep. Man, I like you. I don't know you, but I like you.
Chris is gonna have nightmares.
Hey, when in doubt, look at the numbers. Look at the numbers.
That's right. That's right.
Look at the numbers.
Yeah. Hey, now say these words. The Beatles suck, and watch them just explode.
Oh no, I work with this guy. I can't do that. No, but yeah, in this case, man, the numbers back it up. It is what it is.
I don't know what the hell numbers he's looking at for the 90s. I mean, I'm not a big Nirvana fan. I mean, I like them. I thought Nevermind was a pretty good album. It was a good album. But if you're talking all time, I'm going Kiss all day. But if you're talking the 1990s, there's no way they can even compare to Nirvana in the 90s. I'm going Nirvana by a landslide. But once again, somehow, some way, I got a bunch of Kool-Aid drinkers all around me. How the hell did this band make it to the second round of the 1990s? Somebody tell me that.
Hey, where's Andrew? Where's Andrew?
I think Andrew's here. I see 3 Andrews. I got 3 Andrews. So I can't believe I'm writing this down. Kiss beat Nirvana.
Yep.
God gave rock and roll to you.
That's right. That's right.
But it's still they rock.
Oh my goodness gracious. We're gonna get taken off the air. All right, here's our next matchup. Stone Temple Pilots versus Radiohead.
I'm gonna go Stone Temple Pilots. I like Radiohead. I mean, they're okay. They're not a band that I'd listen to all the time, but I mean, Stone Temple Pilots has several good songs.
Big Bang Tater. All right, Mike, you're up.
Stone Temple Pilots.
2 for STP. Soha.
STP.
And I'm going STP. They'll move on to the next round. Clean and sweet. Third Eye Blind versus Pearl Jam.
Pearl Jam.
Vote for Eddie Vedder and Pearl Jam. Mike?
Three black guys is fixing to get another black eye because Pearl Jam's moving on with me.
Well, it's Third Eye Blind.
Three black guys.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying now. At first, I thought he said three black guys.
No, three black guys.
All right, Mike. So I think Mike somehow, some way voted for Pearl Jam and all that, right? He voted for Pearl Jam.
Pearl Jam's moving on with me.
All right.
If you would have listened.
2 votes for Pearl Jam.
Mike still psyched Kiss beat Nirvana.
I haven't felt this disgusted since I Want to Know What Love Is beat yesterday.
Oh, man. I'm going Third Eye Blind.
Oh, no.
Vote for Third Eye Blind. I'm not the biggest Pearl Jam fan, but I'll give them a little edge over Third Eye Blind, and Pearl Jam will move to the next round. All right, our next matchup, gentlemen, is Matchbox 20 versus Dave Matthews Band. Matchbox 20 versus the Dave Matthews Band.
It's 3 a.m. I'm gonna go 3 Doors Down.
So you go Matchbox 20?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Mike.
I think I'm going to go with Matchbox 20.
Matchbox.
Mike, bend your head a little bit. I want to look at your frog behind you. A little more.
Oh, yeah. Why ain't you putting jingle bells on that thing yet?
I thought he was going to put a picture of Paul Stanley there. and then make sure the frog looks like he's sleeping.
Don't be hating on Kiss moving to another round.
I don't even remember who's the matchup. Oh, Matchbox 20 and Dave Matthews?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
see, I was goofing off so damn much. I think I said 3 Doors Down, didn't I?
You did. Tommy's like, don't forget about that kryptonite, brother.
Yeah, hell yeah. I don't even know what the hell I was talking about.
So are you voting for Matchbox 20, Tommy?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Now, Mike, who'd you vote for?
Matchbox 20.
We got 2 votes for Matchbox 20. You're up, Soha.
Matchbox.
And I'm going Matchbox. Bye, Dave Matthews. See ya. So they're gone. The Counting Crows versus the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
I'm gonna go Red Hot Chili Peppers on this one.
All right, so he's going with Flea and the boys.
Yeah, dancing around with his stuffed animals on his pants.
Yeah. All right, Mike.
I'm going with Red Hot Jalapenos on this one.
We got 2 votes for the Peppers.
Yep. Red Hot.
I'm going Counting Crows, but Red Hot will move on to the next round. Our next matchup is Green Day versus White Zombie. Rob Zombie, lead singer, White Zombie, versus Dookie and Green Day.
Ooh, I'm gonna catch some shit over this one. I'm sorry, I never cared that much for Rob Zombie. I'm gonna go Green Day.
Tater, don't be sorry, man. Everybody's got their own opinion. I didn't.
Oh, I know. I just never cared for White Zombie.
I don't like Dave Matthews at all. And I mean, if you gave me a free concert ticket, I wouldn't go. So, I mean, and there's a lot of people that feel very differently than I do that would pay thousands of dollars to go see that guy. I wouldn't go if you give me a free ticket. So don't apologize for how you feel. Everybody just has different opinions on music, man.
Oh, I don't really care what people think. That's why I'd say Kurt Cobain sucks. You know,
Dang!
I've never been quiet about that. I think the Who should have kept their ass in a garage band. You know,
They should have stayed in the garage.
hell yeah.
All right, so we got a vote for Green Day. Mike, you're up.
More human than a human. I'm going White Zombie.
More human than human. All right. So,
All right, Tommy, I got your back. I'll go Green Day with you.
Appreciate it.
we got 2 votes for Green Day, 1 vote for White Zombie. I like White Zombie. I like Rob Zombie. I saw Rob Zombie in concert about 3 years ago with Korn. It's a really good show. And even though I'm not a big Korn fan, they put on a good show. They have a lot of energy, so I give them credit for that. But I think Green Day wins this pretty easy. I'm going Green Day, and they'll move on to the next round. It's Guns N' Roses versus Alice in Chains.
Oh man,
Toughy.
I'd really like to see Alice in Chains go a little further, but I still think Guns N' Roses is going to take it. So I go Guns N' Roses.
There's a vote for the Great Spaghetti Incident.
Well, we'll make it interesting then. I'm going to try to keep Alice in Chains in there for a little while longer.
And Mike voted for the Rooster. Yeah. Because Alice in Chains ain't gonna die. All right, Soho, you're up, man.
Guns N' Roses.
Oh, we got 2 votes for GNR, 1 vote for Alice in Chains. If it's all time, I will go out. I mean, Guns N' Roses. But if we're just talking 90s, give me Alice in Chains. So we have a tie. We have to go to the tiebreaker to see who sold the most albums in the United States. Guns N' Roses sold a total of 11 million albums in the 90s. Alice in Chains sold 10 million albums in the 90s.
Gosh!
So Guns N' Roses will move on to the next round.
Hey, I'd have never imagined Alice in Chains sold that many, you know, because they were pretty much an underground band there for the longest time.
Yeah. That was close.
You catch them on MTV, you know, Man in the Box.
So that concludes the second round. Now we move on to the Great 8. There's only 8 bands left. And our first matchup is the mighty Metallica versus Matchbox 20. Mike, quit laughing, man. Show some respect to Rob Thomas, man.
Oh, it's no hands. You know, yeah. Metallica.
So Tommy wants to load, then reload it. He votes for Metallica.
Metallica.
Oh, I thought you were going to sing a Matchbox 20 song there for a minute.
No. Hell no. Metallica.
2 votes, Metallica.
When you start the decade with an album like the Black Album, you're going Metallica.
So Metallica is going to move on because all 4 of us are voting Metallica. So good job by Matchbox 20. They made the grade 8. So you have to be a really good band to get that far. But Metallica will move on. Oh my God. I don't want to say this matchup. Kiss. The Cinderella of all Cinderellas thus far. The Kiss is basically Southwest Louisiana State, and they just upset Duke, and they just upset North Carolina. Now they're about to play Kentucky, I guess. So Kiss versus the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Come
All
on,
right,
kid.
Tommy Barnes.
Hey, you know, they set it off, man. They set it off. You know, you got to incorporate that they did. Revenge. They did. They did. the Unplugged, and then they did, the reunions and stuff like that. Yeah, but I'm gonna go Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Thank you, Tommy. Thank you for finally taking off your Kiss-covered glasses, putting down that Kiss Kool-Aid, and voting with some integrity. Thank you, Tommy.
But I will tell you this: I'll listen to Revenge over any of the Red Hot Chili Peppers albums. But
Okay.
as far as the whole decade goes, yeah, Red Hot Chili Peppers.
So the Bugs going the Chili Peppers. You're up, Mike.
Heck no.
Did I disappoint you,
Really?
Mike?
Peter Chris. Gene Simmons. Reunion tour. Unplugged. Man, I'm going Kiss.
So Mike, I guess he's stuck under the bridge. And he votes once again for Kiss. So we're tied at one apiece. Soha, you're up.
All right. Going to the 90s. I'm going to have to say Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh,
So thankfully and mercifully, the 90s Kiss will be put out of their misery because I'm also voting Red Hot Chili Peppers. So bye-bye, Kiss. You went 2 rounds too far to begin with.
Come on, man.
Our next matchup is Stone Temple Pilots versus Green Day.
I like Stone Temple Pilots, I really do, but I gotta go Green Day.
Got to vote for Dookie.
I'm sticking with my Stone Temple Pilots. Mm-hmm.
I said, Michael wants to vote for you. All right, you're up, Soha.
Dookie.
Another vote for Green Day, and I'm going to vote for Green Day. Green Day will move on to the next round. Is Guns N' Roses versus Pearl Jam.
Well, let's go ahead and get Chris throwing a fit again. Guns N' Roses.
Guns N' Roses for Tommy.
Damn it. I'm going Pearl Jam.
Mike's going, Jeremy voted for me today. Gotta
Guns
vote.
N' Roses.
And then I'm voting Guns N' Roses every day of the week and twice on Sunday versus freaking Pearl Jam. All right, so Guns N' Roses will move on to the next round, which is the final 4. But Pearl Jam had a great run. They made it to the final 8. All right, so we're in the final 4, boys. We're going to separate the pretenders from the contenders. In the first matchup, we have Metallica versus Guns N' Roses.
Oh, wow. Metallica.
Got to vote for Black Album. Mike Watts,
Metallica.
vote for Mighty Metallica.
Metallica.
And I'm voting Metallica. So Guns N' Roses gets swept in the final 4. Metallica moves on to the championship, the national championship game, to see if they can become champion. Our next final 4 matchup is Green Day versus the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
I'm gonna go Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Got to vote for the Peppers.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Peppers, too, because of the Californication song. I like that song. I kind of like their sound anyway. Red Hot Chili Peppers.
All right, Soha.
I'm going for the underdog. I'll say Green Day.
We got to vote for Dookie. Both these bands are really close to me. I can't really say I like one more than the other, but as far as musicianship and being distinctive, I'm going to vote for the Chili Peppers too. So the Chili Peppers will move on to the championship round versus Metallica. So good run by Green Day, but the Red Hot Chili Peppers makes it to the national championship game. So in the national championship, we have in one corner with the Black Album, we have the Mighty Metallica. In the other corner with their Blood, Sugar, Sex, Magic album, we have Flea and the boys of Red Hot Chili Peppers. So Metallica versus the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Tommy, you're up.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, Red Hot Chili Peppers had a really, I mean, they had a really good groove to their old band. But yeah, you had the voice of Anthony Kiedis, and you had the craziness of Flea. You know, he was a pretty cool dude. But I think it's Metallica all the way.
All right, so we got to vote for Metallica. Mike?
What you got to give it to Metallica. What you got
Oh!
to give it to Metallica.
Mike!
Oh,
Mike, I thought you were going to give it away and vote for the Chili Peppers. You threw me off
He's
on
not
that
going
one,
to give
man.
it away, give it away now.
Give it away to Metallica.
Oh, Mike, you got me on that one. We got 2 votes for the mighty Metallica. So,
well, I'll say this much. I do like the fact that Red Hot Chili Peppers made it this far, that they are that good of a band. But when you're stacked against that, you can't. Yeah, it's Metallica.
and I'm also going to vote Metallica. They're going to sweep for the championship. So congratulations to Metallica. You are the best, the greatest rock band of the 1990s, according to Kiss and Tell podcast. So really great matchups, a lot of strong matchups, some Cinderella stories. But in the end, I think the Final Four was a testament to all those bands' popularity of the 90s. And at the end of the day, like it or hate it, Metallica had the biggest selling album of the 90s. Even though grunge was the craze and all the fad, Metallica was still the band that had the biggest selling album of that decade. So congratulations to Metallica. I believe in the 1980s they made the Final Four in our matchup. So they were like a Final Four contestant in the 80s, and they pushed over the top in the 90s, and they actually won the whole thing. So what a great band Metallica is. So I want to thank all you guys for taking time away from your families, taking time to be part of this program. Matt, we want you to come back. We had a good time with you, and you're always welcome to join this. Just be sure that you realize all the Kool-Aid drinkers that are a part of this show, and they have no objectivity. But
I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun.
And remember out there in podcast land to join our Facebook page, Kiss and Tell Rock Talk. Go to YouTube, subscribe to the Kiss and Tell channel, and remember to rock and roll all night and watch Kiss and Tell podcast every day. Bye, guys.